Hey, what's up, y'all? It's the Dr. Investor. Today, I'm going to be talking about the future of the Section 8 program in the Trump and Elon era. Are they going to completely cancel all funding for the Section 8 program? Well, stay tuned and find out as I get into the topic. So since Trump has taken office, things have been changing rapidly. He was just inaugurated in January, but it feels like he's been in office for months for the amount of changes that are happening. He's signing executive orders left and right. He even signed an executive order to create DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency. And we know who the head of DOGE is, Elon Musk. So Elon Musk is now technically a government official. Once DOGE was created, Elon Musk came out and said they are going to save $2 trillion through this program. So in order to do that, he was going to fire a lot of unnecessary federal workers and cut spending on what he deemed on a lot of unnecessary overfunded government programs. And one of those programs is Section 8. We got a taste in this in January. So in January, the Trump administration put out a memo indicating they're going to freeze spending on all federally funded programs. A few days later, a federal judge shot this down, stating that the White House cannot do this. So the White House rescinded that memo, stating that they're going to freeze all spending of government funded programs. But they did put out another memo, said they're going to be a freeze to a lot of government funded programs. I panicked when the White House put in this memo because it was unclear if I'll get paid as a Section 8 landlord, since Section 8 is a federally funded program. And I was getting messages by a lot of fellow Section 8 investors, as well as a lot of my subscribers, asking me what's going to happen with the Section 8 program. I was in the dark just like them. I did not know what was going to happen. These memos are being put out, are being rescinded by judges, but at the same time, the White House is still saying they plan on freezing federal funds. So, to try to help clarify this, the White House put out another memo stating that they're still going to fund rental assistance programs. This includes Section 8, and I had a big sigh of relief once he said this. This let me know that he's still going to pay Section 8 landlords. But there's a lot of confusion because there's a lot of mixed messaging being put out there. This confusion led to the state of New York not paying Section 8 landlords. And they stated this is because they were confused as well as far as the funds that President Trump plans on freezing. So as a result, they just ended up not paying Section 8 landlords because they're unsure if they could even pay Section 8 landlords since the funds were frozen. Luckily, these landlords did eventually get paid for the month of February. The only thing, this was a delayed payment. Luckily, me being based in Chicago, I did not have any delay in my payment of rent. So I'm very grateful for this, but that's very unfortunate for the landlords in New York, because New York is a very pricey city. So some landlords may not have been able to pay the mortgage with not getting this rent. So what happened in New York just showed what could possibly happen to the entire US if this program collapsed and what the potential future of Section 8 landlords may be. Recent documents obtained by news media showed that the White House plans on cutting spending to rental assistance programs such as Section 8, and also plans on laying off a large proportion of the staff within the Housing and Urban Development, which is the HUD department, and this department is responsible for the Section 8 program. Their memo stated they plan on laying off 4,000 employees within the HUD department. That is half of the staff within the HUD department. Since these are not official documents, the White House has came out and said that these documents are subject to change and they are not official and may not represent what the White House has in place. But we all know the White House's agenda within the Trump administration and DOGE's agenda as well is to minimize government spending. Like I said, DOGE wants to save $2 trillion. And in order to do that, he's going to have to cut a lot of government spending. So what does this mean for the Section 8 program? If anybody has ever worked with the Section 8 program or for the Section 8 program, it's not a program that gives you the feeling that it's overstaffed. It gives you the feeling that they're understaffed because you're waiting multiple days, if not weeks, to get responses from representatives. You're waiting weeks to get a housing inspection scheduled. Just had a housing inspection a few months ago, and the inspector said they got hundreds of homes on the docket, and there's only 2 inspectors within the whole Chicagoland area that is responsible for inspecting all these homes. So imagine if they cut the staff in half to 1 inspector. Imagine the amount of delays that will happen with that. And if you ever had to contact the housing authority for any issues or to get an update about a tenant's move-in process, you're waiting 3 to 7 days to just get a response and hopefully an update. So imagine they cut the staff in half. That 3 to 7 day response can now turn into 30 days. So a process that's already slow is going to be already slower with less employees. It's not going to be faster or more efficient. Section 8 is a program that is trying to entice landlords to participate in the program. But as a program, Section 8 has a hard time attracting new landlords. The main gripe newer landlords have with the program is that there's a lot of delays associated with the program. You have inspection delays, you have delays talking to representatives, you have delays in process of moving a tenant within your properties. And these are not the delays that you'll deal with if you're renting out to market rent. If you rent out to market rate tenants, you just list it on Zillow, whatever rental site, and the next day that tenant can move in. That's not the case with Section 8. There's a long process you have to deal with. So imagine this process being even longer because now there's less staffing within the Section 8 program to accommodate landlords. So I foresee that these delays are going to further drive away new landlords from participating in the program. Section 8 needs landlords who are willing to rent out their home in order to get voucher holders within that home. So if it's already a situation where it's difficult for them to get new landlords, it's going to be even more difficult with these further delays. This is just going to give landlords another reason not to participate in the program, especially landlords who have top tier properties and top tier neighborhoods. They'll have no incentive to participate in the program because they'll have no shortage of market rate tenants wanting to live in their property. So I foresee this being a problem if Trump's goal is to cut the spending and cut the staffing within the Section 8 program. Another issue I see within the Section 8 program in the future is individuals on the Section 8 voucher waiting list. I know individuals who are on the waiting list for 10 plus years before they got their voucher. So imagine a decreased budget as well as decreased staffing. This is going to make it even more difficult for individuals to obtain voucher. That 10-year waiting list can easily now turn into 15, 20-year waiting list. So there's a lot of individuals who qualify for a Section 8 voucher. It may be even more difficult for them to get a voucher now that there's less staffing as well as less funds allocated to this program. So there's a lot of changes coming within the Section 8 program. So make sure you subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any videos, because I have a lot of videos coming to you guys soon. If you know anybody that will benefit from this video, make sure you are sharing it with them. The Dr. Investor is out.